morning, everybody, and I'd like to welcome you to the first meeting of the Commissioners Court for Kaufman County for the year 2015. I'd like to welcome our two new commissioners, Commissioner Steve Phillips and also Commissioner Jackie Allen. Appreciate you guys being on the court. We look forward to working with you. If you would like to address the court, now would be the time here just in a moment. We do ask that you sign in. There's a sign-in sheet there that we'll ask you to complete, and then we'll introduce you here just in a few moments. I've asked Commissioner Allen to give the invocation for us this morning, and we'll begin with that as well as the Pledge of Allegiance to both of our flags.
Father, we're grateful for this day. We're grateful for the country that's free in which we can live and do the things that we need to do for our communities. And we always ask that your guidance and the wisdom that you give to us, that we can make the decisions that are best for our citizens here. Grant us each and every day is a good day to work for you, and we thank you for your Son who died for us. For in his name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you very much. Okay, I believe we have three people that are here to address the court this morning on items that are, one of them I believe is on the agenda, and the other two are not on the agenda. The first is Roseanne Mora, who lives on Bedrick Lane here in Kaufman in Precinct 1. So Roseanne, if you'd like to come forward. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Judge Wood and Commissioners, and welcome new Commissioners.
Thank you. And I would remind all of our speakers that on this opening session we have a 3-minute time limit, and
yes.
So I think you're aware of that.
I am, thank you. I'm here speaking in behalf of my neighbors. We live on Bedrick Lane. I live on the farm that I live on. It's been in my family since 1901, and my other neighbors have been there many years. And we've been trying for a number of years to have Bedrick Lane, which is gravel rock road, taken into the maintenance road. Mr. Rowden was able to get that done. We had an agreement with him that we would pay $800 per property owner to take the road over and for it to continue to be a gravel rock road. And before he left office, he had the road graded on 2 different occasions. But since he's left office, Mr. Rosales is not willing to take our road into the maintenance program. And we're very concerned for our safety of vehicles being able to get in, emergency vehicles, sheriff's office, and it's used by the public, utility companies, repair companies. It is a road that we all travel to get to our driveways. And another thing that concerns us is that Mr. Rosales has Red Fox Road is a dead-end road that goes directly to his Rosales Sandy gravel pit, and it's being maintained by the county. And if it can be maintained, why cannot our road be maintained that has residents living on it? There's no homes, no one living on Red Fox, other than his businesses at the end of it. So I respectfully ask that the court we put this back on the agenda for the next commissioners meeting to be discussed, because it is a serious, serious matter that we're very concerned about, especially for our safety and just ability to get in and out. So I respectfully ask that can happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is from Judy McSpadden from the Kaufman County Historical Commission. Ms. McSpadden. Can you speak in the microphone?
Oh,
Maybe
I'm so sorry.
people can hear you a little better, and I hope where you can hear us out there, we turn it up.
I'm just here to ask this morning for our historical commission to get access cards to be able to get in and out of the annex building. We've only got one card, and that's our one county paid employee. And there's just been times that we just absolutely have to get in there. So we're asking that at least our committee chairs, each committee chair, be issued an access card.
Okay. Why we cannot respond during
Okay,
this portion.
all right, thank you.
I believe Commissioner Gonzalez has it on the agenda, and we'll be able to discuss it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. All righty, next is Tanya Ratcliffe, who would like to talk about item number 5. Do you want to do that now, Tanya, or do you want to wait until we get through item number 5? Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to address the court at this time that did not have the opportunity to sign in? If so, I will allow you to come forward and do that. All righty, thank you very much. I do have one item that I'd like to announce. As you're aware, the Kaufman County passed a $56 million transportation program back November, about a year ago now. And as part of that program, there are to be studies going on talking about a plan that would designate thoroughfares in the county. And one of them is the entire county, and then there's a second study that's going on that would involve US 80 from the Dallas County line to the Van Zandt County line. The first of those studies is underway, and there'll be 3 public meetings. I have a form here. There will soon be a third one to be announced. The first one will be next Tuesday, January the 20th, beginning at 6 o'clock here in Kaufman at the Kaufman High School cafeteria. And then the second one will be on Tuesday, January the 22nd. It'll be at the Herman Furlow Middle School on Cockwood Road in Terrell. Both of the contents of these meetings will be the same. And then the engineering firm that is coordinating this has also announced that they will be conducting a third meeting in Forney, I believe on January the 27th. And as soon as we get that information, we will forward it to everyone so that everybody will be aware of that meeting. I'm not sure of the location yet or the time, even though I do expect the time will be around 6 o'clock, just like the others. The content of the meeting, the way the meeting will be conducted will be the same in all 3 meetings. But it is an opportunity for the public to come forward and express ideas they may have about what the thoroughfare plan that is long range for Kaufman County, what that should look like. And I hope we'll have a good turnout for that. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have a number of items listed there. The first is the acceptance of the meeting minutes for December the 12th, 2014, December the 22nd, and December the 29th, 2014. Item B is to discuss and consider approving bonds for James Bruce Wood, Rhonda Gale Huey, Greg Sherman, Bobby L. Rich Jr., Johnny Adams, Mike Smith, Tricia B. Ashcroft, Jakey Allen, Ronnie Rex Oldfield, William Phillips, and Laura Hughes. And item C is to discuss and consider approving deputation of Susan Cook Mendoza, Annabelle Guerrero, Karen Jones, Michelle Lopez, Dana Mayfield, Marisa Noble, Maria Oliveris, and Willie Denise Wade for the district clerk's office. Item D is to discuss and consider approving the deputation of Amanda Reyes, Augusta Casio, Bobby Bartlett, Bonita Garvin, Chelsea Singleton, Cindy Davis, Cynthia Ramirez, Darla Grunwald, Davida Mayfield, Gloria Ortiz, Jamie Swaggerty, Loretta Campo Donicio, and I'm sure I butchered that name, I apologize. Lynn Fanyon, Matthew Jones, Monique Hunter, Pam Singleton, Patrick Dowdy, and Sue Oden for the county clerk's office. Also is item E is to discuss and consider appointing Robert Fair and Jeffrey Davis to the Emergency Services District Number 1 for 2-year terms. Item F is to discuss and consider appointing Danny Baker to Emergency Services District Number 7 for a 2-year term, and Chris Heiser and Aaron Sinclair for 1-year terms. And then item G is to discuss and consider adopting the new clean fleet policy. Do we have any questions or comments about any of those items?
On item E is in my precinct, and it didn't get stated. I want to make sure it's clear that Robert Fair will be replacing Harley Barton,
Okay.
and Jeffrey Davis will be replacing Ron Schoenberger.
Okay.
And item G, I'd like to see us do a workshop on it, have a workshop on the clean fleet policy that's adopted. I think our new commissioners need to see what calls for that. So
Okay.
I make a motion that we adopt everything, yes, G.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, that's fine. You want me to try to have someone from COG here when we do that, so you understand.
I'd like to see us meet with Mr. Cantrell and the other officials that's ahead of that. I think that by the money that was distributed, last week, I think that they really don't know that we exist out here. I think we're getting slighted. Maybe we can have a little influence on them to get us a position on that board or some type of better representation. I'd like to see them come out and get some call.
I have no objection to that. I can pretty well tell you, if we don't adopt a clean fleet policy, our chances of getting any additional funds are going to be limited. But to make sure the new commissioners are up to speed on it, we can certainly do that and get that scheduled sometime soon.
I think as quick as possible.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions on the consent agenda? I believe we have a motion from Commissioner Shane, a second from Commissioner Rosali. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. All right.
Does that include item G? Or
No, it does not include item G, and I'm sorry. I'll try to speak louder. I know the people in the back of the room, it's a long way from here, where we're sitting, and so we'll all try to speak louder. So you guys will help me remember to do that. Item number 3 is to recognition of the 2014 State Vital Statistics Exemplary 5-Star Award given to the Kaufman County Clerk's Office for their outstanding work in the area of birth and death registration. And congratulations.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring it to the Commissioner's court about the work that our office has done. During the 2014 Vital Statistics Conference, the county clerk received their 10th award, and this is it. And the state sets the criteria for birth and death registration. There's 5 sets of criteria that the local registers have to meet. To get the exemplary award, you have to go above and beyond that criteria. To put this award in perspective, there are 490 local registers who can receive this award, and the first level, the exemplary award, this year there were only 12 county clerks that received that award, so that puts us in the top upper echelon of vital registration, local registrars. And we work every day on that award for a year. We work with our Justice of Peace, funeral homes, and the local hospitals and midwives in order to make sure that we comply with all the state regulations. We get their people's birth and death registered. We make sure that it's available and accessible when they need it. So we're really proud to bring that award home to Kaufman County. We had actually sent pictures. My dad's supposed to be here, but other than that, thank you.
All right, thank you, Laura. Next is to hear, item number 4 is to hear from Tanya Ratcliffe, who will present the tax assessment collection report for the month of November.
but I give you this.
Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to our new commissioners. The Kaufman County report, tax report is for the month of November. Looks like this. And on the line amount collected this month, that'll be for the month of November only. So for the month of November, we collected 1.1 million for M&O and $128,193 for INS, for a total collections year to date, $1,901,147. Now that money includes our rollback taxes that we collected. In November, we collected $97,275 in rollback taxes. And those were two pieces of property, both in the Buc-ee's area. One was the Buc-ee's proper, which is about 19 acres, and then there was another 16-acre lot that was nearby. It was in the same complex. So those two pieces of property were the total of all of the rollback taxes collected for November. For Road and Bridge for November, we collected $179,696 in November. And our total collections year to date were $277,554. And again, that includes your rollback taxes of $12,000 that are just beneath that. So don't add on the rollback taxes when you're figuring totals. The totals are already figured. We do have some delinquent taxes that were collected in the month of November. We collected $150,110 of delinquent taxes last month, or actually in November. So that's good. We're building on that. We keep trying to collect some of the old past due monies. Do you have questions for me on the November report?
It's good to see those rollback taxes coming in. Under our agreement with the city of Maryland, y'all remember we get to keep all the rollback taxes, so we don't have to contribute that to the deal. That's good. Anybody have any questions of the tax assessor?
Make a motion, accept the November report.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Rosali to accept the tax assessor's report for November. Do I have a second? Commissioner Phillips seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. That's your report. Yeah, it is. All righty, item number 5 is to discuss, consider designating the parking area on the county parking lot immediately behind and east of the county annex for the general public conducting county business. And to be clear, that's this parking lot right here, not the one across the street, but the one right here. And Commissioner Rosali had asked that we have this on the agenda, so Commissioner.
Yes. I've got a lot of comments from the public, taxpayers coming up here to pay their taxes and having to park way out in the middle of the parking lot or sometimes on the far end of the parking lot and make their way through the employees' vehicles to get up here to spend 10 minutes paying their taxes or getting their license plates. And I feel like it would just better serve the citizens if we designated this as a more or less a customer-only parking area, and we can designate the first row possibly of the other parking lot for the employees if necessary, or just let the employees find their own way, or we can, you know.
The big parking.
Yeah, the big parking lot, maybe the first row and the far end, so that they would actually be out of the way of the customers. I just felt like it better serve the citizens, and also signage. I think we need to have some signs put up, because if you're new to the area, you come back here and it really doesn't say where, you know, the tax assessor is, where to go to get your license plates or pay your taxes. And I think when we take down the employees only sign, we should put some signage up to designate what offices are in here.
I think that's a good idea.
Might look, I don't know what the city will allow us on the front, but also, if the city will allow it, I think we should have some signage on the front of the building facing the courthouse as well. That, says tax assessor, collect your license plates, taxes.
check with the city.
Yes, sir. Like I say, I'm not sure of what their requirements would be.
I do know we have some signs here for the handicap.
Right.
And we may need to increase the number of signs that.
Would the city tell us that? Probably also.
Yeah. So, all right, you hear the request from the commissioner. Do we have discussion?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, come on up. Tanya, you were signed up for that agenda.
I was, because I would like for the commissioners to know that I think there are very few perks that elected officials get, and I would like to have my designated parking spot. And it doesn't have to be the exact one that's there, but I think that there are just a very few elected officials in this building, and that I would like to see them be able to keep a parking spot available for them, because they often have to come and go, and it is hard sometimes to find parking, but there are elected officials here to work it out. I'd like you to consider that when you make your decisions.
Would you be happy with having a designated spot on the first row of
Farther back,
the immediate parking lot across the?
not as happy as having one right here, no.
I can understand that.
This street piece right here, is that just for parking lots too? I mean, that's just parking lots.
It's got parking places.
Yeah.
Used to be striped.
Yeah, and I think it belongs to the city. I'm sure it will. I mean, we might be able to get them to,
Give that up,
I don't know what we get into.
because that might be
Some additional.
yeah, that might be an answer for the permanent parking place. You know,
I would be certain that if we did that, the city would have to give us permission to do that, but that's something we can check on too.
I would like to say, from what I see coming into the offices, I think adding additional handicap spaces would be good, especially if they were added appropriately, as in not right next to each other. You need the space for them to get out of their car and get in. Because one of these spaces has that space, and one of the handicap spaces does not. So it would be good if we did add at least 2 full handicap spaces where they could actually get out of the car and get around.
Maybe the maintenance could check with the city and let the city tell us what we need to do to be
I
compliant.
think we need to do that, yes. But if we move forward on this, your motion would be to include the area right now that we know we can designate as employee parking, that entire front row.
Yes.
Second part, big part.
Yeah.
All the
Designate
rest
that
of this would be handicap and custom.
customer parking, yes, sir.
All right, discussion?
No, handicap, I think, does it go on percentage of the number of parking?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check and see.
Yeah, like I say, the city
I
has
think
some
that
rules.
when you follow, how many parking lots spaces you use, they designate so many.
Yeah, they give you a minimum, I think, and we might want to go a few more. We'll investigate all of that.
Would it be appropriate just to take this, or did the city know what we can do and number of handicaps next month's agenda?
I don't think so. I think we move forward with it and just, the city will designate how many handicap we should have, and as long as we comply with that. Really, the agenda item is to consider, making this a public, customer parking area, not
Won't take
an
away the
employee
handicap.
parking
Won't take
area.
away the-
No, it'll add to the handicap,
Add
if
to it.
anything.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we designate the parking area immediately behind the east of the annex as a general public parking area.
Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Rosales, do I have a second? Second. Commissioner Allen seconds the motion. Any other discussion? One thing I would add, it may take a little time to get this done, but we'll start rolling and start getting this done. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. All right, item number 6 is to discuss, consider access of historical commission members to the South Campus Historical Commission office. And I believe we have heard a presentation on that just a little bit ago from the Historical Commission folks. And Commissioner Rosales, this is one that you asked me.
Yes, sir. They had come to me and requested this. I provided y'all with some information about the duties of the Historical Commission, and as you can see, they have many duties, from historical markers, cemetery preservation, archaeology, and historic site preservation. They need access in there to get to their office And as well as they have a security problem with their office. It appears that other people have access to their office and possibly use their copying machine. And they would like to have their office secured and only have the members of the historical commission to have the keys to it. So I would ask IT if that was possible to get them. Ms. McSpadden, how many more access cards do y'all have? Oh, did she leave? I guess she had to go. She relayed to me that they would need probably 2 more cards for a temporary office worker and then a volunteer that comes in there and keeps the books up to date.
I believe they have one now.
They have one, from what I understand. Is that what you?
Pam has got, I think she said that it was a county employee, which would be Pam, I believe.
Oh, Ryan Parker is the county employee that comes on Fridays. So he has one, yes,
I
sir.
think he has access to it now.
Yeah. I think Ms. McSpadden requests a key, and Stan Cap is a volunteer that is also a member of the Friends of the Forkhorn, which they have their same information in his office.
What, at some point in time, would it not be prudent to try to get them into that building there on the county farm at old residence or something?
Well, I think that they're trying to hold off from that because of the preservation plan. They don't want to go in there and do something that's not parallel. That's not parallel with the preservation plan, and that's going to be another item we're going to have to address at some point. But the item right now is their request for access and security in their office.
Okay, the request then is to have 2 additional keys or pass cards. That would be, and Mr. Parker has one now, and the other would be for
Ms. McSpadden and Stan Cap.
And Stan Cap, all right.
And to also maybe change the locks on the
Yeah,
office.
I made a note of that. We'll get with IT and maintenance and see if we can get that. I didn't realize it wasn't locked.
Right. Well, it has a lock on it, but apparently it's more people have access to it, so.
The only comment I would make is that we do have a procedure in place for our employees whenever we give a new employee or an additional employee. And that says that whenever Human Resources is notified of a new hire for the county, meaning an employee of the county, that we do run a background check and send the employees for a drug test. And once the results are received and the employee is cleared to start, we take their picture and email it to the sheriff's administrative assistant. She then prints the badge and sends it back to Human Resources. We then send the employee the ID number, name, position, and card serial number to it for them to set up the employee access. Once we've received confirmation from IT that the badge has been activated, we send the badge to the new employee. And that normally does not take a very long period of time, but I believe that you would want these people to have the same sort of scrutiny.
Absolutely, yeah, to be secure, I would suggest we follow the policy.
Okay. Do we have any other comments?
I do good.
Come
The
on
way
up.
we can accomplish it, we can't do that. We cannot run a criminal check on juvenile law. So you have to go to DPS and pay a small fee to have their criminal history run, and they provide us with a copy of that and we'll issue the card.
Does the sheriff's department go to DPS or?
No, the person has to.
The individual
That's
has
the only
to.
way, because it's a non-criminal. We can only run law enforcement checks, and, but they can go request their own criminal history. And I wouldn't quote how much, the last time I heard, I think it was like $2 or $2.50, and they will print that out for them, and they can bring us a copy of that, and we'll be happy to do whatever y'all want to do on that.
Appreciate it.
That's it.
Yeah.
When the card is taken on it, can everyone see?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
area.
yeah, that back in the south.
Well, and the card, every time you go in and out, register, you go in and out. All right, we have other discussion about this, anybody? Commissioner, did you put that in the form of a motion?
I do, yeah.
I'll second.
Okay. And with the two specific people that
Yes,
you said you
yes,
mentioned.
Stan Cap, Judy Spatton,
Okay.
have
We
access.
have a motion from Commissioner Rosales and a second from Commissioner Shane. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 7 is to discuss and consider accepting a rebate check from the Buy Board Purchasing Cooperative and determining the budget line item.
Good morning, gentlemen. As you might be aware, maybe the new commissioners or not, but we get a rebate check from Buy Board Co-op based on a percentage of what we spend. And they're a nonprofit group, so at the end of the year, they rebate back to the entities. This year, we received a check for $5,128.05. That's a pretty good sum compared to what's been in the past.
What did you say, 5,000?
$5,128.05. The second part of my request is to determine where that goes. I would like to put that in my department where I have access to it for employee recognition. I spoke to Lori in HR. You may remember we talked about this a time or two, and I think it's a good fund to help pay for that.
This would be the county employee recognition program where
Yes.
we recognize them for
Yes, sir.
length of service.
You know, we talked about that back in furlough days when the commissioners asked me what we could do to help morale. At that point, I mentioned recognize employees, we would get to do that. I had some employees mention to me that, for example, on South Campus, in a 12-month period, we had 3 people retire with 90 years of service, 90 plus years, no recognition. I don't know an entity that does less to recognize employees than we do.
Right.
And I like to get that thing going. That's a passion of mine. I like to get HR and maybe include the auditor.
I think this is an issue that's long overdue, that we do this for the county employees. We need to do something, and this is a good start. I appreciate you, Jack, for taking this on.
Okay, you have a recommendation from the purchasing agent to accept the rebate check in the amount of $5 million. Freudian slip there. $128.05, and that be designated as an employee recognition fund and a line item that would be used for nothing for that purpose. And Karen, you can arrange for that without any problem?
Sure.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Rosales, second from Commissioner Allen. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, let's vote on that $5 million and see.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, the next item is item number 9, and that is to discuss and consider purchasing.
Hey,
Oh, I'm sorry, item number 8, I'm getting ahead of myself. Item number 8, to discuss and consider, I got excited about that $5 million. Discuss and consider adding the Director of Human Resources to the county cell phone program per county policy.
Gentlemen, I have a request from HR Director, and I think it's a valid one. You may not remember, we have a policy, if we add a user to the cell phone group, we have to go to court to get that approved. Lori indicated to me that she receives calls from county employees day and night, and that's how they get over it on cell phone. She's not able to cut that off at the end of the day, and I think it'd be a good person to add to the phone list, and I'll make a recommendation.
that'd be the director only, just no employees.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Allen. We have a second. Commissioner Rosales, seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Thank you, Jack. Number 9 is to discuss and consider purchasing a Caterpillar 420F backhoe loader for Precinct 3 Road and Bridge, utilizing the Buy Board Cooperative Contract 424-13.
Gentlemen have a request from Commissioner Cunning to purchase a backhoe. And once again, it is on Buy Board contract, meets all the procurement requirements. Total price is $98,500, and I would make that recommendation to purchase that.
All right, we have a recommendation from the purchasing agent and a motion from Commissioner Shane to purchase this loader for $98,500. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is this to purchase or finance? Because my understanding from Commissioner Shane was he wanted to purchase it and pay down on it and finance it. And I went and got the quotes.
Last conversation I had.
This is just to get permission to buy it, Karen. Then we do the financing after that.
Okay, we're going to, I think the last conversation we had, you were going to pay cash for it based on your,
Well, pay
I'm
down,
buying the backhoe that he has out from him, it's gonna give him
then
some
we're gonna pay it out over 2 years.
so, okay, so we are going to finance it.
Right, yeah. But that didn't have to be on you, this was just to allow me to purchase a machine.
John, you see,
I thought we've always had it on there before.
you see a problem about having,
I just wanted to make
Well,
sure.
it says purchase.
the lease purchase versus purchase, we want to do it like this.
Well, I mean, it says purchase. Are you saying we're not purchasing it? It sounds like it is.
You're gonna purchase it,
But
finance it, but finance it. It's not a lease, it's not a lease purchase from the dealer, it's an outright purchase with the finance.
That's fine. Normally I'll have it as lease purchase.
Yeah, and it's not lease purchase.
Okay, so you're okay with that?
So we're purchasing, financing for 2.
Right.
Make sure you're right.
Okay. And I believe you made a motion to purchase that. Do we have a second? Do I have a second? Mr. Gonzalez, seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed? All right. Item number 10 is from our auditor to present and accept the auditor's monthly report for December 2014.
I think you've already put that right there for y'all, so you can see it.
Right?
Yes, that's it. All right. Your three-month benchmark is usually at 25% on your revenues and your expenditures. General fund revenues is at 45.95, and that's due to over 50% of our property taxes being collected. Our expenditures are at 22.27% in the general fund, so it's right under the 25%. Road and bridge transfers. Of course, you've gotten a little bit more in revenues than you have your expenditures and your transfers. And what you've spent on your road bond construction, you still have quite a bit left there to spend. And in your CTERs, we're sitting at 0.22%. That you have spent $66,600 this year on your CTERs.
So we still have quite a bit of money in CTERs and in bond that the commissioners will have access to this summer as we get ready to start working on the road.
And the money that the prior county treasurer had to borrow for us, we had to pay that back as of 12/31, about $1,700 in interest. So that loan has been paid in full.
Good. You have questions of the auditor concerning the report, financial report for the month of through 12/31, the first 3 months of the year? A lot of taxes came in during the month of
Right, December, yes. And your report from the tax assessor was through November, that's why it doesn't compare. Because this is more up to date. New commissioners, or any of y'all, if you don't understand the financial report or you want a little bit more in depth, just let me know. We had changed some of the format of the reports that we send to you. Once you click into that, you can look at every fund, look at all the revenues, all the expenditures, and if you don't understand something, just let us know. And we'll help you along to understand it.
Okay, do I have any other discussion? I have a motion from Commissioner Shane to approve the auditor's report for December. Do I have a second? Commissioner Phillips seconds the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 11 is to discuss and consider approving line item transfers.
I know we sent these out to you last week, but I wanted to know if any of you had any questions on the transfers, why we were needing certain things, or
Seems like a lot of transfers this early in the year.
yes, sir, a lot of it is, like the one for the TMC employee air ground, we had to increase that a little bit, that's per employee, and when we had changing employees, we still have to do that. The lease payment was to pay the interest on the loan. Regional call center, that was out of construction, Armory for the IT park construction. Road and Bridge 2 needed some computer equipment, software, and the bond. Road and Bridge 4 wanted to do some travel and training, and I missed one of his lease payments that was 2106, so I had to cover that for debt. Also, the budget amendment from 4446 was the money that the records management, God's records management that you agreed to give to finish the annex. So we made those adjustments. State comptroller, district adult probation is district money that is their money, the adult probation from the state we had to fix. We had a maintenance contract renewal that we needed to do. This is where the fire marshal and criminal agents officers were sent out, and they needed, when we did that budget, you'll remember we kind of did it on shoestring because we didn't know what we were going to need. So we had to give them some parts and repairs for their trucks, gas and oil, and some new equipment. And the fire marshal had estimated it close to 80 or 90,000 as revenue, but I didn't feel comfortable putting that much extra, so I just put 15,500. And then if they need anything else, we'll up it. If not, that's just extra revenue for the general fund. The other financing sources, when I went to pay the loan off, we found that the money was never received. So we had to get that fixed, and I wanted to fix the, if it don't fix it, it's going to make the general fund line item look like we just made an extra bunch of money in that
So it was
fund.
positive, but it was never received.
It was never received, so we got that received and then the loan paid off. You have any questions?
Yeah, you can see what that looks like.
Oh, okay, we get to see it. That's right, his computer wouldn't open up in PDF.
Karen, on the capital murder grant, I think we've about depleted the expert witness and consultants from $30,000 down to $260. Do we not need that money for the Brownlow case?
This capital murder is only for Williams. The others being accounted for in another line item.
Okay.
This has to do all with that murder from the governor's office.
For the Williams.
For the
Okay,
Williams.
is it-
We have to account for it separate.
It's for prosecution. Yeah, and we are in Pam's here, she's the one that handles that.
We are able to move those line items if when I wrote the grant, I wrote it with a certain amount for expert witnesses. If we didn't use that, we can move that money with the approval from the governor's office, and that's what's happened to some of that money. We did just secure another round of grants to help with the Brownlow case. We'll finish up with the Williams and then continue with the Brownlow.
And that will be
case.
earmarked specifically for the Brownlow case
Yeah.
as well?
Well, it'll be some of the Williams, it'll continue in that.
We haven't got all the bills.
We haven't got all the bills in, and let me explain to you, when she goes in and she changes that budget on the governor's site, I have to sign on and I have to approve my side of it. So there's like 3 or 4 people involved in that.
to make sure
And the
that we.
governor's office has approved it.
Yes, they have to. Pam had a lot of trouble to go through just because the different avenues it makes you go through to get approved by the feds, to go back to the state, and it's a maneuver. I know we've told you this, we've paid over $100,000 on the defense side for Eric Williams. I want to make sure y'all understand. As of last week, when they sent us one more bill, KW was finalizing the stuff with the public defender's office, and he's estimating, the gentleman is, that they're going to send us back about $70,000 that they haven't spent, but they keep sending these orders signed that we have to pay them, but they hold it in like an escrow account, so we should get some of that back. I just won't know for sure till I actually get the
Right,
check.
and we still have bills coming in that, we may not get back.
You're right.
But so far, the money that the governor's office, the criminal justice, on the prosecution side, so far, they've been very cooperative with us and reimbursed us for the things that we've sent. Sometimes we have to do, Pam has to do a lot of work, and Karen has to do a lot of work making sure that it gets just the language they want to use. But so far, they've been very responsive. And I believe they will be in the Brownlow case too. So that's good, because the total bill, I have no telling what it's going to turn out to be. But,
Well, yeah, and I was always told if you had one capital murder, it'd probably wipe out the general fund, and we had 8. So far we're blessed. Yes, sir.
No, this, on there it says both of them's on that grant
But we have accounting for it separately.
separately.
Yes, sir. That's the way we have to do it.
But so far, we should 29,000 on the grant, just on the reading for that.
Yes.
but we'll be asking for
More.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got some stuff to sign on this morning because she got some stuff approved, and then we have to rearrange it and make it look like we agree to it.
Yeah, and it's my understanding the Brownlow case is probably not going to start till June, July.
Right.
So,
Nobody knows it's gonna get a change of visa.
all right, do you have any other questions with the auditor concerning the line item transfers? No, I'll entertain a motion to approve as requested. Motion. Commissioner Allen moves to accept, and Commissioner Phillips, I'll give that a second. Second motion, we have other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Item number 12 is to discuss and consider claim payment.
Your claims for payment are $2,026,435.58. Do that one.
Angie.
You got a question, Marie?
I've got things, page 28 and 33, charity report relief. Why are they just now showing up?
They just probably finalized.
Before everybody
We have
leaves,
something that as far as
we have a new adult chief probation officer in the county, and he's here with us today, and I don't think you've ever been formally introduced to the court. So this is David Daniel with the probation office, the adult probation office in Carroll, and so he's got cards look like there maybe, and we just wanted to take this time to introduce him. Thank you for being here.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
I know, he didn't ignore that.
Trevor, anything from you, Joe?
Thank you.
Still no connection?
Well, they got the Wi-Fi, it's not, I can't get into the network, but I just need to see, STW, so I can't log on to it. Lloyd's working on it.
Is there more today?
3 weeks to get fourth week.
Not yet, I know, but is there more than that? Well, it's all for the law.
No, this is current, this one I need, that one I don't need, that one I need.
I think we've got 6 cases.
How many times I had to tell them this, tell them, but I'll do it again.
Did you look at
All these started in October. July, August, October, May.
this year? 14?
Thank you. And then settle or finish February of 2000.
See, this says 5/28/13, 11/13/13.
No, but you can't pay them till you get them.
Did they finish it?
Yeah, but that's, I mean, this should have been budget, I mean, the last budget.
No, it's when they finish the case, if the judge will sign off on it, they can. Yep.
They don't get the payment until they get ready for the case to get.
Yeah, I don't know why the lady had came in, but it looks like she came in February for signing.
On top of all that stuff, there's an annual report that I have to do that's due by October 30th. So I can only report expenditure stuff until October 30th. Because there's so many things to see after that, it has to be this year.
But this clearly ended in 10/13.
Because they didn't get it.
Well, that's our fault. We paid them, judge, we paid the court appointed attorneys for bills that their case was finalized at 10/9/13. They're just now turning into
2010.
I know, there's a whole page of
Is
it.
this outside of the first case?
Oh, yeah, this is court appointed attorney.
If there's
Case ended.
Yeah, the case ended in 13.
Yes. Well, I guess it's the judge approves it.
When did the judge move it?
2/15/14, yeah, that's 2 budget years ago.
I don't
And
want
then he
to.
approved it February 15th this
That's when
year.
she did it again, that's when she approved it there, but you don't put that on.
Whose signature is this?
Howard Fund.
Why would he?
I have no idea.
There's, I mean, that's not, you look at page 28. Look at here, page 29, every one of them.
Jenny, look on 30, page 30.
Oh, I know. 28, 29, 30.
There's one in 2010, and in 2011, $5,000.
Yeah, that's all that.
Did we have to pay this year? We need some
Isn't it?
explanation out of it.
I would think that you need to talk to the judges.
Well, I mean, the judge-
I mean, we received it in December and we worked it for payment. I mean, that's all.
The judge has a court coordinator that's supposed to have a copy of it. I would think so.
Yes.
I mean, well, yeah, when you get bills that are from 2 budget cycles, back 3 and 4, I'm sorry, I have problems with that. I mean, who's,
And this thing that we're not paying this way back.
How do we know that?
how do we know they're even legitimate?
Oh, if they were paying before.
Our system usually shows the results.
Does KW know what they're about?
What's that? We won't double pay one of these. Anytime we put one of these case numbers in, it'll give us it'll pop up and say you paid this invoice before in the previous year. But on top of that, we'll get several of these for the same case.
Especially once somebody's 4 or 5 years old. And
Right. That, I mean, whenever we receive them, that's when we pay them. I mean,
What can we do about this?
we can ask them to and see what their policy is.
Exactly what I told you, you need to.
Where's our-
Hold on a minute, Judge Wood has something to say.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you, since this is obviously a long time ago. what we probably need to do is go back on these particular ones and not pay them, and go ahead and pay the ones that are current, and then ask the court, the judges individually, to give us a reason why they have not been paid. And I don't think we as a court, and I may be wrong with that, but I don't think we can stop them from doing it, but we can ask the judges to be certainly more aware of what this has been. And it may be that since we had two judges change, that perhaps some of these had just never been turned in by the attorney. I don't know that. It could have been.
You also, yeah, and you also have district judges not here that sign off on it.
Yes.
I just call it.
Did he sign off on it, or did his court coordinator sign off on it?
No, that's the entire
2 years later.
signature.
I know, but I don't get it. You look at every one of these, because there's, every one of them that's 2011, that's, you know, that's a problem.
We do not pay attorney fee vouchers without a signature. We do not. If it does not have a signature, it gets sent back to that court for a signature.
Well, I know, but they have a signature stamp.
No, these are not
These
signatures.
are signed live.
No, every single one of them is signed live. There's no signature stamps. You can tell the difference between different signatures. I can pull these if you like to see.
I mean, a whole bunch of them are from Robert and Bunger that are in 2011. Should we really pay bills that are 3 years old?
And the auditor, has there ever paid bills like this before, that's 4 years old?
I think we need to have an answer from our court coordinators and judges.
That's my concern.
Why don't we do this?
Pull all of them that are not current, hold them.
And maybe when we say current, 2014.
Right, 6 months old.
Well, I would say anything from October, from the budget year. I mean, they should have their bills in by October.
Now, that might be a thing we can pass, is if they have to get their bills that are current in the year turned in by
We
the
can
end
certainly
of the year.
check and see if we can do that. And, so can y'all do that and go back? And,
I just told him to pull.
okay.
I'll have to go through them one by one because different attorneys turn them in at different times.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of them.
I mean, sometimes it's a
Sounds like
specific
they
attorney that, you know.
Are those all signed by the 86 judicial?
Must have found on the road.
No, it's a range.
But what is odd is every one of
He
them.
had a lot of mental problems the last year and a half.
Yeah, but he has a court coordinator. That's what they're
She
supposed to
probably
be.
takes them and then turns them into him to sign, and then he gets.
I'll,
They're not all 86
I'll do
though.
some checks.
No, they're not all
Say
86.
that point about this.
No.
It'd be helpful.
I can see where it.
I just want us to,
Yeah.
we'll pay it if it's right.
We get a $5,000 bill that is 3 years old, and we have multiple $500 charges from the same attorney that are all in 2011. That's a problem.
40 each one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a valid point, but we all check it out and see.
We've done that the last 3
I
years.
will, I don't know what we can do as a court, but maybe there's an order we could pass or something that would, say that we're not gonna pay them if they're 2 years old or more than 2 years
Well, I
old.
mean, they should be billed
Can't just.
within 30 days.
I don't like my money, only IRS gets that.
Yeah, I've got one over you, you'll pay me back.
Okay. That'll work,
I'll give
just
you
so
a
you
check.
pay.
Okay.
I'll pay.
All right, can we, what date do you want to go back to? The 1st January 2014, or do you want to do as Commissioner Rosales, it says, as of September the 30th, 2014? Not to pay any of those?
Yeah.
I would think so.
And then we can research that in between now and the next meeting, get the judges to.
How do you keep on your budget, keep track on your
Yeah, I mean,
budget
that's
if
a
you
big-
get 3-year-old bills?
Right, it's hard to do. And again, I wonder if some of it has to do with the change in judges, you know, maybe some
I
people.
think we found them. I think maybe Casey found them.
Yeah.
Gave them, Howard.
Since I've been dealing with it, it usually is up to the attorney because there's times where we just get a whole bunch of bills from one attorney at one time. But throughout the rest of the year, we're not seeing anything.
I think we need to strive to make that more fluid and give them a 30-day period
Absolutely.
to bill after the case is.
Right.
If we can do that, it may be left up to the judge, or we can ask the judge.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm all in favor of doing it if we can do it, but I'll make a note and see. What
I would think we could have some kind of policy.
Yeah.
Have some.
We don't control it.
No, we do pay the
No,
bill.
but it rendering me.
Right, that may be where we can set something.
So will it be something like motion to approve claims for payment with the exception of paying any invoices dated prior to September 30th, 2014?
For indigent defense.
And they say you go back 5 years.
Other than the capital murder cases that we had,
Those are all pretty good.
Those are all current.
Okay. Indigent defense invoice.
Yeah, it wouldn't be there because it was 70 years.
Two thousand 11. Yeah, I can see if they began 3 years ago.
I thought.
Do we need to decide until they started it?
we're gonna make, whoever makes the motion will include that in the motion.
Yeah.
Should have Tom agree his name on
Okay, just scratch through it, put your name. Okay.
Oh, I apologize.
That's right. That's right, it's KW's fault, you can get it.
Yeah, that was my fault. I'll get that changed for next Commissioner's Court. What's that?
Yeah, that's the big thing. We just looked at, I looked at all that.
Okay.
Is there a deal to sign on this, Karen?
We got this
You're
one,
passing it down.
one deal over here.
What's the deal? All these bills? Oh, yeah. It's very complex and overwhelming.
Is this something, yes, sir, is this something you can get with the judge?
No, it's just, you won't get it. You've seen it, you've seen all this, you've seen it.
I can do it.
And emergency.
It might be more over your line item. Then if we, I'll check, see if we can cash them orders.
Who's in charge of these forms?
Hey, that's why I said I was so slappy.
Yeah, that's my fault.
You hand out.
I'll make sure and get it fixed for next time.
Hey, we still have to put Pittsburgh
Yeah,
left
3
us.
years.
The last name, right?
I'll get it fixed.
All right, this was very quick. We're going down to Franklin.
Maybe it has
I will have normal stories.
Who do you think's gonna win?
I was born in Oregon.
We're hoping Oregon has to.
Fees and fines because some of the people complaining have to get a check or get cash out. It's like a credit card.
Oh, yeah, no way. And I mean, you know, the biggest guy, the biggest guy.
Well, that has to be on the county phone. Yeah.
It happens, but still. That would be mature enough to.
What? Yeah, one more.
Yeah, they are. Susan, you got
Well,
it? Both of them, I'm not sure both of them were, I'm not sure. Because I thought.
Tuesday is the
one-
20th.
Yeah, but I thought the Tuesday was in Terrell. I thought. Susan came to the, I'll go get an I can't remember when I thought thought they would be burned.
Was it big? Was it big?
Because see, it says Tuesday, January 20th, then it says Tuesday, January 22nd. That's not right. I thought the one Tuesday night, I thought it was in Carroll, but I don't know which, I don't know. I think it's.
When they were at the counter today, they had someone in.
I think they sent out a revised Friday afternoon. So you would make sure all so we can additional on that. So I'll resend it to everybody.
Because I think.
Yeah, we need to make sure it's right. Whenever they call.
Because I don't want to take care of the wrong place. Oh, I enjoy it.
We always go eat.
Oh, yeah, you love that. And he would be the man in his eye.
All right. Do we have three reviewing bills?
We had this information was appraisal.
That was just for items.
That's right.
Well, I just put it just so you would have it. Normally I would just put it in there on the sale.
Not only am I downtown, they want that, they want anything.
All right, are we ready to approve the bill with the exception of the ones we talked about? So who wants to put that in?
I put it as, with the exception of paying indigent defense invoices dated prior to September 30th, 2014.
And I've asked Karen and Katie to work on that. We'll get and also check to see what authority we may have to set a rule on that. So is that your motion, Commissioner?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have a motion from Commissioner Rosales. Do we have a second? Commissioner Shane seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, item number 13, adjourn regular meeting. That was precinct 4 roll in the past. Sorry. So we have a motion from Commissioner Allen to end the meeting, and we have a second from Commissioner Phillips. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. All right, guys, don't have to do we're alive.
Okay, right. Two elected officials.